So, as my topic, I chose abortion, and abortion is basically a medical procedure that ends a pregnancy. But of course, when I talk about abortion, regarding the source, I'm talking about the political aspect behind it as well. This also speaks to the currency of the source because it was updated very recently and it still speaks to a problem that is very active, very controversial, and very complicated currently, especially in the United States. I chose this journal because it was the first thing that popped up, and I didn't really want to be biased in choosing an article that went for or against my views. This is a website by The Conversation, and it is an online journalistic article that claims that they have, and this is literally their words, not mine, academic rigor and journalistic flair. Now, I'm gonna let my bias speak a little bit because I was a journalism major in high school, and I absolutely love the way that they describe themselves here. So it was off to a pretty good start. I will say just right off the bat that this journal is pro-abortion. While I am pro-abortion, I also have my arguments and my opinions against it. So just to kind of put those biases out there for myself, as at the end of the day, they are gonna they are going to come into effect with how I analyze the source. So I would say the source is still credible. The authors seem very educated on the topic, and I kind of give them that verification of education through their schooling, of like how educated they are on the topic through their schooling. This is what the article states. Sophie Bajork James is an assistant professor of anthropology at Vanderbilt University. Anna Grace Lilly is a med student at the University of Toledo, and Isabel Perry Newman is a medical student at the University of Virginia. So they have the needed education to rightfully so write about this topic. The website also states Sophie Bajork James receives funding from the National Science Foundation. Anna Grace Lilly and Isabel Perry Newman do not work for, consult, or own any shares in or receive funding from any company or organization that would benefit from this article and have disclosed no relevant affiliations beyond their academic appointment. So this helps to also affirm the authority and the accuracy of the source, as it doesn't seem like they have any bigger reasons to be persuading us one reason or another. It's just them speaking what they know, what they've learned, and what they think. So this article also includes a video to WSMV, which is the national news station, which also speaks to the currency of the source, as it was posted recently and it is still very much so relevant. I would also say that this is also a very accurate source. I'm going to read a quote from the article. The problem is that such cases are rarely clear cut, and the stakes for healthcare providers are very high. In certain states, including Tennessee, if they are found to have provided an abortion in a case where the mother's life or health was not imminently at risk, they can face felony charges, which can include multiple years in prison. So, throughout the interviews that occurred in this article, this was a very, very common mindset. So, I like that this is like the purpose of the article, almost like also is to not only just educate others on abortion and abortion access, but to bring to light the dangers behind the scenes for healthcare workers. So, of course, that speaks to the accuracy and the purpose of the source. Obviously, I wouldn't say that this article is free of bias. It is written by all women, and as abortion literally affects women, it is, of course, a bias to think about. When analyzing the source, is that literally all of the authors are women, and it is a pro-abortion article. I also found that the word forced, they use that a lot. I feel like the word forced is very much so a word. The word choice is a form of bias, and this is defined in an article by allscience.com. And I feel like force is definitely, it makes, you know what I'm trying to say. The publishers that own this article themselves describe themselves in the following way. They are a nonprofit, independent news source dedicated to unlocking the knowledge of experts for the public good. Being independent typically means that they don't really have a stand on politics. It's not aligned with a specific party. And I feel like this eases me on the worry of massive bias. Whereas in Fox News or CNN, they have very much so a clearly right or a left side. While I do think that the fact that the conversation is the conversation doesn't have a clear side. That's obviously a very positive thing, but at the end of the day, we did read an article called "What's Wrong with Both Sidism," and the truth does not agree with both sides. But I still say that this source is credible, just due to the fact that it's not an entirely it's not the whole thing that won't agree with pro-abortion, and the whole thing won't agree with anti-abortion. There's going to be different inputs everywhere. Um, but I still think it's important to think about the bias behind this specific article, not just the conversation as a whole, which is it's written by women and it's about an issue that affects women. I do feel like I've critiqued this source kind of left and right, and I've analyzed it through all of the crap test lenses. But at the end of the day, I would still consider it to be like quote unquote a good read. I would still consider it to be a good source. Once again, I might be biased due to my opinion on abortion. Um, Thank you.